everyone, welcome to TYBSc Chemistry class. I am Meenakshi Birari, working as Assistant Professor in Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samaj, Karmavir Abasaheb तथा नामसुनोने Arts, Commerce and Science College, Satana. Today, through this video, I would like to give you the overview of TYBSc Chemistry course for the academic year 2020-21. As we are about to start this academic year, so you have opted a chemistry as a special subject at your TYBSc level. So first of all, I would like to welcome and congratulate all TYBSc chemistry students. I am going to discuss the course content is as per the Pune University. As we know that undergraduate course in Pune University is of semester pattern, and the syllabus for TYBSc has been revised and implemented from the year 2015. Now we will see what are the different courses in TYBSc for semester 3 and for semester 4. There are 6 theory courses and 3 practical courses. Out of 6 theory courses, 5 theory courses are compulsory and the 6th course is optional course. Semester 3, physical chemistry, inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry, analytical chemistry, industrial chemistry, agriculture chemistry. For semester 4, physical chemistry, inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry, analytical chemistry, industrial chemistry, dairy chemistry. The 6th course is optional course. This particular paper may be different in different colleges based upon applicability and future perspective from student point of view. For our college, we have selected agriculture chemistry for semester 3 and dairy chemistry for semester 4. For each theory course, total 48 lectures are allotted for semester 3 and for semester 4. There are 3 practical courses: physical chemistry practicals, inorganic chemistry practicals and organic chemistry practicals. Now we will see the examination pattern of TYBSc. Each theory paper will carry 50 marks, out of which 10 marks will be allotted for internal examination and university examination will be conducted for 40 marks at the end of each semester. So total marks will be 50 for each course. The practical examination will be conducted at the end of semester 4. Each practical course will carry 100 marks, out of which 20 marks will be allotted for internal assessment and university examination will be conducted for 80 marks, and total marks for practical examination will be about 100. Internal assessment for theory and practical courses will be done on the basis of performance of the students in test. Minimum 2 tests should be arranged for each course in a semester. So that is overall about the examination pattern, theory exam as well as the practical examination. As you had learned the chemistry from 11th standard, before starting the study of TYBSc, you must go through and revise the basic concepts of chemistry that will be useful for you while learning the various courses of TYBSc. You may try to find the answers of the questions like why you choose the chemistry as a special subject to complete the graduation, again what is chemistry, as well as what are the different career opportunities after completing BSc chemistry, what is the scope and importance of chemistry, etc. Like such questions are there. You may try to find out the answers related to these questions. In TYBSc, you have to study various branches of chemistry physical chemistry, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, industrial chemistry, analytical chemistry, like that. So I am going to teach you the paper 5th, industrial chemistry, having the course code CH335. Before starting the study of this course, I would like to give an outline of syllabus of industrial chemistry through this video. What is industrial chemistry? So that is one thing, that what is industrial chemistry? Industrial chemistry is nothing but the branch of science which deals with the manufacture of products from raw materials through the physical and chemical changes. It is very simple. Industrial chemistry is the branch of science which deals with the manufacture of products from raw materials through physical and chemical changes. So there are total 6 chapters in industrial chemistry for semester 3. Modern approach to chemical industry, agrochemicals, manufacture of basic chemicals, petrochemicals, food and starch industry, and cement and glass industry. Each unit will carry 8 lectures. For industrial chemistry, total 48 lectures are allotted. Now let us see which topics are included in this course. Chapter 1, Modern Approach to Chemical Industry. As you can see the images of various industries, chemical industries. As we know, the chemistry is basic science. It is also the backbone of chemical industries. Chemistry plays an important role in the manufacturing of large number of products. In this, we will learn the importance of chemical industry as well as the basic requirements of chemical industry, like that raw materials, manufacturing of various products. It occurs by using the raw material. One of the basic requirement is nothing but raw material. Also the terms like unit processes, unit operations, quality control known as a QC, quality assurance QA, process control, research and development, that is R&D, pollution control, human resources, safety measures, classification of chemical reactions. Mainly chemical reactions are classified in 2 groups: homogeneous reactions and heterogeneous reactions. Depending upon the phase of reaction, it is classified in 2 groups: homogeneous and heterogeneous. Homogeneous reactions are further classified into catalytic reaction and non-catalytic reaction. Heterogeneous reaction is further classified in gas liquid reactions, gas solid reactions, liquid solid reactions, and gas liquid solid reactions. So these are the various types of chemical reaction. We will see in detail classification of chemical reactions. Then batch and continuous process. What is the distinguishing points in batch process and continuous process? The continuous process is more favorable as compared to the batch processes because high quality control is obtained in continuous process. The continuous process is more profitable as compared to batch process. The manpower required for the continuous process is also very less as compared to batch process. Such points we will see in batch and continuous process related to the actual industrial process or the manufacturing process which occurs in industrial sector. Then conversion, selectivity, yield, also the Copyright Act, Patent Act, trademarks, intellectual property. All these terms we will see in the first chapter, that is Modern Approach to Chemical Industry. Second one, agrochemicals. various agrochemicals are utilized in agricultural field. Agrochemicals. What is meant by agrochemical? Agrochemical, it is a generic term for the various chemical products used in agriculture. Especially agrochemicals are related to the terms like synthetic fertilizers or the pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, fungicides and nematicides, like that. So agrochemicals are nothing but the various pesticides or the different chemicals which are useful in agricultural field. That is a generic term for the various chemical products used in agriculture. Also, we will see about plant growth regulators. These are nothing but the hormones, plant growth hormones, which are also classified in 5 groups. For example, auxins, cytokinins, gibberellins, abscisic acid and ethylene. So these terms in detail we will see in the same topic in agrochemicals. Then pesticide formulation, the slow release pesticide formulations, storage stability test, the advantages and disadvantages of agrochemicals, the structures of various agrochemicals used in agricultural field like DDT, BHC, Ultrine, Indosulfan, etc., as well as the synthesis and application of DDT, BHC and Endosulfan. So these are nothing but the various agrochemicals. As there are the disadvantages of some agrochemicals, so alternatively biopesticides are also available which are also useful in agricultural field. Biopesticides like neem and Karan's oil. Now what is mean by biopesticide? Biopesticide is a contraction of biological pesticides which include the several types of pest management intervention through parasitic or chemical relationship. So this term is nothing but simply biological control of the pest. These are nothing but called as a biopesticides. On the basis of various sources, the biopesticides are mainly classified in 3 classes. First, microbial pesticide, second, biochemical pesticides, and third one, plant incorporated protectant. So especially the neem oil and Karan's oil are useful biopesticides in agricultural field. Third chapter, manufacture of basic chemicals. In this, the various basic chemicals which we use in laboratory like ammonia, sulfuric acid and nitric acid, the actual manufacturing process by modern methods and the various physico-chemical principles involved in manufacturing we will see in the third chapter, that is manufacture of basic chemicals. For manufacturing of ammonia, there is the modified Haber-Bosch process. So for sulfuric acid, there is contact process for the manufacturing of H2SO4. Nitric acid, for the manufacturing of nitric acid, there is Ostwald's process. So in detail, the manufacturing of ammonia, sulfuric acid and nitric acid we will learn in this third chapter, that is manufacture of basic chemicals. Now the chapter 4th, petrochemicals and eco-friendly fuels. In this we have to learn what is mean by petrochemical, the composition of petrochemical. So petrochemical, it is nothing but petrochemicals are chemical products which are derived from petroleum. Petroleum is an oil obtained from rocks, and the petrochemicals are chemical products derived from petroleum. We have to study various resources and the processing of petroleum, the calorific value of fuel cracking, as well as the octane rating or the octane number, various petroleum refineries, the applications of petrochemicals, synthetic petroleum or the various additives which are useful. Then the second half part we will learn fuels and eco-friendly fuels, that is liquid fuel, gaseous fuel, for example LPG and CNG, fossil fuels, diesel, biodiesel, gasoline, like that. Another one, the solar energy, for it is also used for power generation. So in this we will see about the information related to the petrochemicals as well as eco-friendly fuels. Chapter 5, Food and Starch Industry. In this we will learn about the nutritive aspects of food constituents, food deterioration factors and their control, preservation and processing of the food material. For the preservation of food, we use the different techniques. By using heat treatment or the cold storage, the preservation of the food can be carried out, or the various techniques are available for the preservation of food material. There are three techniques for preservation of food material. One is traditional technique, second one curing, and third one that is known as industrial or modern technique, which are used for the preservation of food material. Under the traditional techniques there are drying, cooling, freezing, heating, or the addition of salt, addition of sugar, like that, as well as canning and bottling, jugging, burial, like these are nothing but the traditional techniques used for the preservation of food. Then curing involves the fermentation. Modern techniques, when we observe the pasteurization, vacuum packing, modified atmosphere by the use of high pressure for food preservation, biopreservation, or the electric field electroporation, like that. These are nothing but the modern techniques for the preservation of food material. So all the preservation techniques or the processing of the food we will learn in this first part, that is food industry. There are the various additives available like sugar substitutes or the sweeteners. Also we can add the various food colors to increase the taste or appearance of the food material. The second half part, starch industry. In this we will learn about the chemistry of starch, the manufacturing of industrial starch and also its applications. There are various characteristics related to the food starches as well as non-starch polysaccharides, cellulose. These terms also we will learn in the second half part, the occurrence of these and the various examples of that material we will learn in the second half part, that is in starch industry. The next chapter, last one, that is cement and glass industry. First half part, it is related to cement industry. In this we will learn about the introduction as well as the importance of cement industry, the composition of Portland cement, the raw materials, which raw materials are useful for the manufacturing of cement, as well as the proportioning of raw materials, the term like setting and hardening of cement. In first half part we will learn about the manufacturing, composition and the raw materials used for the cement. Second one, that is glass industry. In this also we will learn about the importance of the glass, the physical and chemical properties of glass, chemical reactions related to the glass, the term that like annealing of glass we will learn in the same. Then there are various special glasses available useful for the different materials or for different products. Colored glasses like safety glasses or also Some glasses are harder in nature. In our laboratory, we use the different apparatus which are made up of borosilicate glass. Some glasses are optical glasses, some having the property of photosensitivity, then some are conducting glasses, like that. So all these glasses are known as special glasses: colored glasses, hard glass, safety glass, optical glass, photosensitive glass, borosilicate glass, like that. So in detail we will learn about the different properties, chemical reaction of glasses and the special glasses, the manufacturing, and also the term like annealing of glass in this chapter, that is glass industry and also cement industry. So that is overall about the whole syllabus or the outline of industrial chemistry syllabus. Thank you.